First and foremost, we got to say thank you to Steeler Nation. You guys were absolutely incredible tonight. But yeah, this feels great.
Division win, first win, something you guys can build up.
Exactly. We just got to keep stacking the chips. Obviously, there'll be a lot of film to go back and look at, but we'll take the W.
When you guys talked about wanting to play fast and physical, is this what you meant, what you guys did tonight?
Yeah, we had a great week of practice. We know exactly what we're capable of defensively, and it was awesome to be able to go out here and execute.
All right, TJ, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
TJ Watt, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, TJ.
All right, your Steelers defense looked pretty darn good, Mikey, against the Cincinnati Kitty Cats, even though that offensive line for the Kitty Cats ain't that good. You know what? I love this Steelers defense, but before we get into that, during the offseason, Mike, they went down to the Kansas City Chiefs. They got Steven Nelson. I've been watching him throughout camp because, as we all know, Artie Burns is kind of in the doghouse. I asked Coach Tomlin how he thought Steven Nelson, cornerback, is doing so far.
Coach, Steven Nelson seems to be playing off the receivers. Is he catching up with your defense, or is this a...
He's doing great. He's doing great. I like his attention to detail. I like his professionalism. From time to time, we put him in awkward circumstances because of the nature of how we play. I just like everything he's doing thus far. I look forward to it continuing to be a positive aspect of our play.
All right, Mike, that's Coach Tomlin's take. He's not going to throw. This team is psychologically frail right now, even though they have one game under their belts. I've been watching Steven Nelson, and I'm going to tell you, he plays too far off the receiver. And, Mike, he has no receiver catches ball. Cornerback needs to zero in on him like a torpedo. I might as well be covering these receivers. And that's pretty slow.
Well, you know, I'm not sure exactly, what they're coaching. A lot of teams, everything they say, if you're teaching corners and you're playing man, they're going to give you your preference. Some guys like to play press man and get up in the face. Some guys like to play off coverage. That's how they like to play man as well. So it's just, that's all preference right there. So I'm not going to go after that.
His off cut, he's down at Permane's getting a Stromboli. Well, that's how far off he plays.
But I didn't really see him get exposed this game, and my whole thinking is because I saw the Bengals trying to attack the linebackers too many times with Eifert, and you saw them going Eifert after Barron. I think they went after Bush one time. So they're trying to attack. They struggled. Eifert had a couple drops. But
he didn't look himself, did he?
No, but there was tight coverage there. If he could have went up and made a play here and there, it's a different story. But it just, the Bengals looked bad all around. But I felt like Dalton was kind of forcing a few things on a couple times on first down. He forced one to Eifert in the back of the end zone. He tried to take a shot on Joe Hayden on press coverage to Auden Tate in the back of the end zone. And if he just sticks with his offense, he's got an easy 7 yards, 8 yards on first down to Tyler Boyd underneath. So, again, I felt like he was forcing some things as well. But, again, I felt the defense is doing better. The pass rush looks great. You've got Watt and you've got Bud Dupree. I mean, they're driving down the field, Cincinnati, and then Bud Dupree comes off the edge and gets a strip sack. And to me, that was a complete momentum changer. That was the game changer of the game.
Let's talk about this Steelers defense. I want to talk about personnel, and I want to talk about coaching. Kevin Colbert and this scouting department, if you do not understand what I'm about to say, then you're a moron. Kevin Colbert, I'm adamant about this, okay? Kevin Colbert and this scouting department is one of the best in the league. They keep bringing year after year and finding you players you've never heard of, that ESPN ain't never talked about. When you go get a TJ Watt, the Wisconsin Badger, and you're like, what the hell is this? He's a tornado. Stephon Tuitt, after several years of injuries, is becoming the player we knew he could be. He is a presence in the field. Don't forget about your nose guard, who is a thankless job, Mike, in Hargrave, Mr. Bow Weevil, whatever they call him. I call him the Jaguar because he's fast and he hits hard. Cam Hayward, in his 9th season, is a stalwart defensive line player. This just doesn't happen by accident. This is Kevin Colbert. This is the scouting department finding you good players. Bud Dupree, I want to get into a little bit. I hear you, Steelers Nation. He runs by the quarterback all the time. He don't know what, he ain't no good. He runs by the quarterback. I hear you guys down at Jack's Bar talking about this stuff. First of all, Mike, Bud Dupree beats consistently 50% of the time the blind side tackle, which is outstanding. Bud Dupree is a pure athlete. He needs better coaching at outside linebacker, but he gets to the quarterback, and when he gets there, Mikey, when you were playing in the league, would you like Bud Dupree whacking at you like he does?
I probably would have rather had that than, just the headshots, because I played in the era of jacked up, not in the era of, go for the football, and now you're getting
jacked up.
Yeah, so now you're going for the football, but he's a great pass rusher. You got T.J. Watt on the other side. You got the pieces. You got Fitzpatrick on the back end now. You have Edmonds, who's a first-round pick. You've got Joe Hayden, who's a first-round.
Don't forget Sean Davis,
first-round picks all
who's led the team in tackles and has knocked himself out because he whacks people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your line.
They got the pieces.
Oh, they got the pieces.
And Kevin Colbert's done a great job. And look, they even found Mason Rudolph as a third-round pick, which was kind of a steal because some teams did have him as a first-round draft choice. But again, they find the guys. They know where they find value, and they add value to the team.
There is no doubt about it. Again, Kevin Colbert in the scouting department has done a great job throughout Mike Tomlin's tenure. I want to talk about your linebacker situation. I wonder what the linebacking core would look like right now if Vince Williams was a little healthier. He's your jack you up linebacker. He's the guy to get in your face linebacker. However, Devin Bush, Mike, I think they did a great job trading up for him. He is all over the field. He is leading this team in tackles. When he arrives, he hits like a torpedo. People's bodies.
Yeah, he's a great. But he's a little light still, especially on the run game.
And he's learning the game too.
Yeah,
This is very apparent.
Of course,
it's a rookie.
It's just as fast on defense as on offense, and he's flying around. And there was a couple times, he got knocked on his butt by some of those big offensive guards. And Cincinnati's offensive line is not good at all. So he got knocked around a couple times, but he's going to learn on the fly. And the more he plays, the more he'll get better. But we'll find out how good they are this week. Because Cincinnati's O-line is bad. They had no run game coming in. Mixon has no help. Dalton's got no help. They're out with their A.J. Green. No A.J. Green.
Mark Ingram.
So this week
squats 900 pounds. He's going to be flying off that A-gap, Mikey.
You've got a solid offensive line. You've got Mark Ingram. You've got Gus Edwards as their little 1-2 punch. And then you got Lamar Jackson who can get out on the outside with that read option. And then you got, Hollywood Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin coming in here with some speed on the outside. So I would assume Joe Hayden's going to be on him most of the game. And then you'll see, you got Willie Snead in the slot coming across. So they've got a lot of pieces on their offense. We'll see how good the Steelers are stopping the run when the Ravens come this week.
We are going to find out. Mark Barron, I love Mark Barron as well. He's an Alabama product like Fitzpatrick is. Mark Barron will knock the snot out of you. He is fast. He is big. He's one of those hybrid linebackers. So the point I think we're trying to make defensively, you've got some great pieces defensively, Mike. You really, really do. However, statistically, they're still at the bottom, after 4 games, at the bottom of the league. The problem is, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this, Butler needs to be fired. He has no idea what to do with his chess pieces. This defense is porous. He has good players. He doesn't know what he's doing. But Mike, you take it a step further. You don't even think it's Butler's defense at this point.
To me, Coach Tomlin's a defensive coach, and if there's an issue on that side of the football, you're going to step in and you're going to take the reins. Every offensive coach across the league, they're calling the plays. For the first time in years, Jason Garrett finally gives up his play calling to their Kellen Moore, the young play caller. But Andy Reid calls the plays. All those guys are doing their
thing. Go with what you know.
Even Sean McDermott up in Buffalo, he's doing what he's doing on the defense. Ron Rivera does the defense. Vic Fangio's doing the defense. you go, that's your expertise. So
if we're out of
they're
ice cream
struggling-
at a party and vodka, guess who's going to get ice cream and vodka? The old tanker here.
But yeah, so
I get what you're saying.
So, Coach Bill Cowher, he was, he was a former player, and he kind of got his start as a special teams coach, and he did the special teams, but but they had a special teams coach, but he kind of added in and did a little thing here and there. Then he had a D coordinator and he had an O coordinator because he wasn't like a specialist coach coming up. He was more of a special teams guy. Same thing with Marty Schottenheimer, who Coach Cowher learned underneath. Coach Tomlin came underneath Tony Dungy. He's a Tampa 2 coach. Okay, he came in. You had Dick LeBeau running the 3-4, the Blitzburg. All right.
Successfully. Do you know when LeBeau
so,
was here, they were ranked in the top 3 for like 9 seasons. Why the hell they got rid of LeBeau, I don't know,
right,
and I'm not going to go into spilt milk.
But Coach Tomlin has a chance to learn under Dick LeBeau all those years. He's handling all the day-to-day stuff. He's handling all the team stuff, getting the team raw, getting that stuff going. But he can also learn Dick LeBeau's system.
He should have.
Okay, and Butler was there as well, but he didn't get the experience that Tomlin had coming up, and so from Dungy and all those guys. So I think Coach Tomlin was calling the plays just simply because of the fact
Defensively.
yes, just simply because of the fact the play callers have these sheets. They have a play caller sheet. Offense usually has the big poster board.
Yeah.
And defense, they usually have a 1 page, and sometimes they have a smaller card. And Coach Butler has a smaller card. Well, throughout that game,
Cincinnati.
So if Coach Tomlin's not calling the defenses, he's walking up and down the sideline. He's got his hands in his pocket most of the time. He's got his headset on. He can hear everything that's being called on the offense and defense. They have a little switch. Okay, when the offense is on, I want to hear what the offense is doing. When the defense is on, I want to hear what the defense is doing. But he's not just calling defenses, out of the thing. He's got that card with him. And the reason why he's got that card is it's tendencies. It says, okay, this is third down. This is 11 personnel. The Bengals run 11 personnel. 1 back, 1 tight end, 3 wide receivers. This is what they do percentage-wise. This is how often they run the ball on first down, how often they run it 2nd and 5, 3rd. So that's what that says. And he has different calls for different situations. So what happens is to see him pull that card out of his pocket a couple times this past game, he's not the one that talks to the helmet. Same way when I was in Philly. Andy Reid did not talk to Donovan McNabb. Andy Reid called the play to our offense coordinator, Marty Morningwig. Marty called the play into Donovan McNabb. In Green Bay, way back when I was playing, Sherman was the...
was Brett Favre in that guy? No.
Favre, yeah, Favre.
No, I mean Bart Starr when you were playing.
No. So you got Favre, but Mike Sherman's calling the plays. He calls it to Doug Peterson. And Doug Peterson would call the plays in the Brett, but Doug would sit there and copy down the signals, in the first quarter and learn all the defensive player signals, defensive coaches signals, and then he would see what they are. So then when Sherman would call a play to Peterson, Peterson would call a play in to Brett, and hey, 22Z in, whatever, that's the old school West off. You got 22Z in, and hey, you're probably gonna have cover 3 on this, and he'd give Brett the covers. So you got a guy that's calling the plays, and typically the guy that calls the plays doesn't go straight to the quarterback or the linebacker that receives it. So he calls it to the other guy. So I think Tomlin, he's pulling the card out multiple times throughout that game. I think he's checking the tendencies. He's calling over to Keith Butler, and he's like, hey, this is what we're doing. So I think he is calling the defense. And, at worst, he's doing it in some very important specific situations, situation downs. So he's definitely calling on some situations. There's no way he's not doing that. There's no way he's completely given the keys. But if he is doing it, I would love to see him come out and say, hey, I'm in charge of the defense right now. He runs it, because there's a lot of situations where Andy Reid called the plays, but Marty ran the offense throughout practice. Andy Reid sat back there with a pen, paper. He wrote down his notes.
Mental notes.
But Andy didn't come in and do the install. Marty came in and did the install. Offensive coordinators will do the install throughout the week, but Andy still called the plays, and Marty was the relayer, and they conferenced a couple times, but that's how it's done. So I think Tomlin's probably relaying the information over to him, and I don't think Butler's calling anything.
Well, here's the point.
That's just my theory.
No. I think a lot of Steelers Nation would agree with you that it's actually Tomlin's defense. And here's the point that we're going to conclude with, or at least on my part. I think you've got great defensive players because of the head scouts, because of Kevin Colbert. We went through the list of them. These are good players. if it is Mike Tomlin's defense, well, Mike, there are good coaches like Vince Lombardi, and there are bad coaches. And I'll leave it like that. You've got great players on defense, but somehow this defense is statistically one of the worst in the league right now. And Mike, to me, that falls all to coaching. Hey, it's Tank Tantlinger, and Art Rooney and I got something for you. Like our Facebook page, Pittsburgh Sports Talk, Pittsburgh Sports Talk, like our Facebook page, and we're going to choose one lucky person to win my new book, Harry Greb, Pittsburgh's first sports superstar, and also a $25 Pittsburgh Steeler zero friction golf glove. Really simple, baby. Like our Pittsburgh Sports Talk page, and one lucky person in December will win my new book about Harry Greb, the baddest man ever to walk the streets of Pittsburgh, PA, and a Pittsburgh Steelers $25 zero friction golf glove. Pittsburgh Sports Talk. Like us on Facebook.